Great. So we keep finding new ways to use spreadsheet in a nutshell. And I'm going to share it with you guys a tooltip that I recently discovered regarding to the data validation and some of the new ways to use spreadsheet. I'm going to share my screen in a second. All right, so many of you are familiar with a spreadsheet. Once again, it's the QualiWare spreadsheet that allows you to modify dynamic content. So on the left, we have applications that are currently in the repository. So we got all sorts of the applications available, and then there is some attributes and properties that those particular templates consist. So I've set up the capability, owner, and then the goals as part of this kind of a standard out-of-the-box spreadsheet. We can modify this information on the go. We can save it, format it. So a lot of good modification features. Now, what I thought is that you probably face a situation where there are certain properties and attributes not available out of the box, but you don't necessarily want to use CaseMaker in this situation. You don't want to modify the meta model. You don't want to touch the code, but you still want to have some sort of the information present in QualiWare. So there is a solution. You could use Spreadsheet to update and create static content on this particular sheet. So at the top, you see 4 questions that were simply created right by typing, with your keyboard, question 5, question 4, 1, 2, 3, and etc. So what is it really helpful with when people have any questionnaires related items, or they need to add those extra properties of questions that they do have in their business requirements, but QualiWare cannot really offer it out of the box? This is a fantastic way to do so. Now, in this example, I've added a couple of questions. So we got, how would you rate the application 1 to 100? Does it deliver value to an end user? When did it launch? And then are there any comments available regarding to the application? So the interesting part about it is that we can go to the data. We could click the data validation, and we could input a certain function that allows us to, input the information and play with data. So in here, I actually select the number criteria, and when I'm doing the selection for how would you rate the application, I'm gonna write 0 just for now as an example. So if I press 0, the system will actually give me an error saying, hey, this is not the right criteria or right settings that you input in. So please put 1 to 100. So I'm going to put 50 or 60, and the information will get filled out. Now we want to move to another one, which is the list. And again, we go to the data validation. I put the criteria as list as part of the cell. I put the values on the right here. And now we have the list. Drop-down menu. Does it deliver value to an end user? Yes, fantastic. Well, the third question would be, when did it launch? So we also got a calendar available, a date function available out of the box. So I put the calendar inside of the cell, and now I can answer the question, when did it actually launch? We're going to press 5th of January. And then finally, in comments, it is a free text cell where you can type whatever you want and the information will be saved. So in here, you see 4 different formats, how you can input the information outside of the standard out-of-the-box properties in Spreadsheet. And you could see that in one kind of document. Again, we find it to be useful when the client has a lot of properties not available out of the box. So if you want to create a questionnaire, let's say in QualiWare, there is no template for questionnaire. So this would be the closest to the questionnaire in QualiWare that you could find. Now, this content can only be seen in the spreadsheet, but what the beauty about it, what I like, is that you could actually drag and drop every single of those cells, and this will take over not just the valued cell, but also a data validation point. So now we see we've simply updated, 10 or 12 cells with this function throughout the board. So I find that really useful, and I thought the client liked it as well because again, it provides you more horsepower to input the data without using a QCL or a case maker. Yeah, and that's essentially what we recommend. So whenever you need to use an extra, questions, you might be having some application portfolio management questionnaire that you need to circulate to your end users, or if there's any process management related activities that you need to fill out, use the spreadsheet and use the data validation function. I've seen it very underutilized so far. So I thought experimenting with it, and we got so far we got a pretty good feedback from the client. To find the information on the functions, you could actually go to the Center of Excellence in QualiWare. There is a lot of functions available out of the box. So a lot that in the regular Excel would be available here in the QualiWare spreadsheet. And also, I would recommend the second source, which is the Canva UI, which is actually technology behind QualiWare spreadsheet. There's a lot of cool demos with functions, with some additional documentation, and a reference material available for you to get the best from QualiWare spreadsheets.
Great. Thank you very much, Kirill. I appreciate that.